My husband would always say, you're a human being and not a human doing. But I didn't understand what that meant. Like I understood I was running. I understood I was doing. And I felt like a rat on a wheel. But I didn't understand how to be a human being. If you can show up for yourself and slow down and become emotionally healthy and whole, how much more will you be able to operate from your true identity and who God created you to be?
What would you say are some of the biggest shifts that you've experienced?
I would say mindset changes that have allowed me to slow down and calm and breathe. Learn how to, my husband would always say, you're a human being and not a human doing. But I didn't understand what that meant. Like I understood I was running. I understood I was doing. And I felt like a rat on a wheel. But I didn't understand how to be a human being. And I feel like Joyful and Present really helped me to understand it's okay to rest. It's okay to stop, to breathe, to be more self-aware. And it's not selfish. Like, I think the Baptist mindset growing up was like, you got to give until you're like totally out. You're empty and you're flat on your face and you can't give anymore. And then sleep and then get up and do it all again. So I've learned to give myself grace and forgiveness, not be so hard on myself, I guess. And just, I love that every time we would come on a call, you would be like, good job being here for yourself. And at first I thought, well, that's kind of a little bit corny, but it's really not. Like, is she patronizing us? Like, I'm not really sure what that, but initially I was like a little bit taken back by it. But then if you really think about it, it's sort of like in the spiritual realm, when you allow the Holy Spirit to fill you up and your cup is full, you can pour out to other people. It's a biblical principle. You're able to pour out to other people. And so in the emotional realm, if you can show up for yourself and slow down and become emotionally healthy and whole, how much more will you be able to operate from your true identity and who God created you to be in relationships, in everything, in work, in family? And so I feel like
Absolutely.
the way that you say, good job showing up for yourself. We're so glad to see you here. And the other thing I noticed that I really love about you is your therapist ability to, when people and women in the group share hard things, you say, first of all, I just want to say, I'm so sorry that you've gone through that. And you teach us empathy. You teach us it's okay to attune to our own selves. And I would say that most people don't do that. I think I've learned to attune to my daughter for 2 years now, right? I've been intentional about her emotions and what she's going through and how we can be there for her and be about her. But this program has taught me to attune to myself and that's okay.
I love hearing that. I love hearing that. You've just done such a great job. Such a great job. Yeah. And even though it's corny, showing up for yourself, you've done a great and one of the things, I think I commented to you one time, I said, if anybody, working as many hours as you do and being, a physician and having family responsibilities and all that, if anybody could have had an excuse for being too busy, it would have been you. And that it is kind of countercultural, I think, to take time and do the kind of things we're doing. What do you think was the point that motivated you to take time out of your busy life and make this change? Like, what was the point that made you know you needed to do something different and then decided to do that?
I think 2 things. The crossroads for me was, number one, when my sister died, I came to a point where I fully realized how I get so triggered that I run on that hamster wheel and I am out of control. Like I cannot get off. And I was so unemotionally aware of my own pain and my own lack of ability to attune to what was going on for me. I would say it all the time to my husband, like, you're so aware of your emotions and I don't know what I feel. And so my sister's death made me realize that. And secondly, I wanted to stay married. My husband said, like, if we don't do something different, we are not going to end up together. And I was like, oh, I can't lose you. And so it just put me to a place where I was on my knees and I was like, Lord, I need wisdom. I need help. And your Facebook ad came up. I think that was a God thing. So, and that happened right after Becky's death. So,
and I remember you had that call in between delivering babies. I mean, talk about like taking action. Like you were at work. You were
right.
Has he noticed a difference? Does he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we talk about it all the time. I'm like, babe, I just listened to this call and I want you to go through it with me. And I want to talk to you about all the things I'm learning. And we talk about it all the time. And he loves it. He's like, I love to hear how you're growing. Like yeah. So it's good.
I love hearing that. You mentioned just now, just like Facebook. And I think that's, a lot, understandably so. People are skeptical about things that they see online, or they've read things, or they know a lot of things, or they've done a lot of therapy, or they think, it's on Facebook. It probably, so is there anything that you would share to someone who is skeptical, or did you have any of that, coming in and deciding to do this?
I was a little skeptical because I'm like, a support group through Facebook, like what? Is this real? And so I went on YouTube and I actually listened to some of the testimonies of people who had been through it. Yeah. And that helped a lot. But then I think the thing that really convinced me was actually the phone call with you, because I was like, this lady is a full-on therapist and she's running this big support group, but she's willing to take an hour out of her time to sit down and understand what I'm going through. Like, yeah, I understand that she wants me to join her group, but she seemed so empathetic and so like she really cared. Like you as a person blew me away. Like, so I think that was the clincher for me.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, you are a wonderful human being. And I'm glad you can be a human being. We all are better for having wonderful human beings around us. So yeah, anything else that you think has been like helpful to yours, that like if someone wanted to have success doing, if they wanted your results, if they were a human doing, not being, and could move into their own emotions and couldn't get off that hamster wheel and were feeling, overwhelmed from a lifetime of over responsibility, like if they wanted your results, what would your advice to them be?
I think it has to do with seeing yourself, because I was on that hamster wheel. Like I said, I didn't have any long-term goals or vision or like, what do I want in the next 10 years or 20 years? And if you don't change, then you're going to still be spinning your wheels and doing life day by day by day. And you're not going to become who you want to become. Right. So it takes investment in yourself. It takes time and it takes commitment to, I take notes on everything. Every time we have an intentional direction call, you have to know how you learn. And are you willing to invest the time to change the neural pathways? Yeah. So if you aren't invested in the process, meaning listening to the intentional direction calls, getting on at least 2 calls a week, doing the breathing exercises and really learning your body, and that God created this body to help us to signal things. Do you want to be the same you are today in 10 years? Yeah. I don't want to be that same person because I'd be divorced. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to get off the hamster wheel. I'd be anxious all the time. I would be fearful all the time. The ability to stop, the ability to just be like, do I want to be divorced within a year? Do I want to be angry all the time and sad when I really look at myself and fearful of everything and everyone and what they think of me? Yeah. Do they think I'm competent? Do they not think I'm competent? How do I overperform to prove my worth? Do I want to continue to prove my worth every day of my life? I guess it's just the ability to stop and look 10 years down the road and be like, what will it take for me to get there, to be different, to be the person God created me to be? So not only like following through with the commitment, which I know I have seen you on calls, and the practicing of the things, right? Listening to it's not enough, like practicing. But what you're saying is, I think what holds a lot of us back has definitely held me back in certain times in life where you're fearful of moving forward. You're saying the fear of not doing something, like you were more afraid of the consequences of not doing something, and that overrode your fear of that it might not work or that it might, Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And that also, I think one of the things that a lot of women with a strong faith, and I know you have a strong faith and the women in Joyful and Present, something in common for us, but there's that feeling of, if I've been praying about it and I trust the Lord, how come I'm still feeling like this? And should I need help from someone who has an understanding of, the nervous system and the human body?
Yeah.
Could you make sense of that it wasn't evidence of a lack of faith?
Absolutely. And I would say, it's great. For instance, my husband has an amazing faith. He's super deep. And of course, I used that against myself. I'd be like, but I'm not as Christian as he is. Baloney. God gave me my faith, and I'm the only one in this world who can express it the way I express it. But he has an amazing faith, and he leads at our church, and he talks to God every day and prays in deep learning and wisdom in the Bible. And he understands that there are people in this world who have a different perspective, who can speak a word, and that word can come from the Holy Spirit, and it can trigger something in his brain that goes, oh, I never saw it that way before. So it's not just that I'm not Christian enough to get better.
Right.
I'm not emotionally or spiritually strong enough to get better. It's not that. It's that this world is full of sin, and Satan loves to create pathways that we feel like we can't get out of. But another person's word spoken at the right time, I think there's something in the Bible about that. A word spoken at a certain time can help you see from a different perspective, just like in marriage. Husband, wife. My perspective is my perspective. God put us together in marriage so that we can see the whole and operate in cooperation. So if I think that I can be the best parent and I only need one of me to parent a son and a daughter, I am wrong. Right? So by using my husband's perspective, then I see things differently because I don't see it from his side of the world. Right?
That's so good, Angela.
Yeah. So even as a physician, this is that whole ego thing in physician world. You've studied 12 years after high school to become this physician, but you are not God. And so if you can stop long enough to be like, I wonder if someone else could speak into me, even if you've gone to a therapist. I like that your program doesn't make us go down deep into our traumas. And yet the right words spoken at the right time in the right way can help the Lord heal in my brain.
You're very articulate. You're very good at putting things into words and expressing them. And I love that visualization. So, well, thanks for letting us help you, Angela. We just love working with you. Love working with you.
I super appreciate you. Thank you.
No, can't wait for the next year. So